Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talk Junkies, where tonight's going to be a very important night and interesting as well.
Oh, shit. He added an interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my God, he didn't say interesting.
Yeah. This is really important. If you guys didn't, last week's podcast was really good. We had Carl on the show. I had a lot of good feedback on the views we did get. It wasn't very much, and I think, and this is just my opinion on the importance of the topics that we talked about. Granted, the first half hour was really I enjoyed it, just talking about just the legislation passed in Philadelphia. But once we got into our human selfish, like we've been averaging quite a lot of between 60 views between YouTube and Anchor. And then for some reason last week it didn't pop off. Maybe it's just because the content,
Damn it, Carl.
I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, just tune into last week's podcast. It was really solid podcast, and it was from start to finish, honestly.
I felt like it was a good one all the way through.
Yeah, all the way through. This one is extremely important, and we try and stay away from this topic, but it's really, there's no way to stay away from it because it's going to impact the lives of millions of Americans, and it is impacting millions of people around the world. And that's just the vaccine mandate that's happening to everyone. And basically, I don't know if you guys, anyone watching remembers Joe Biden.
And you're going to get shadow masked on YouTube anyways talking about this, so.
And that's fine. I'll put on BitChute and see if anything bites, because we do average over 100 views on BitChute when I do upload on that. But Biden came out 2 months ago, and he had talked about mandating the vaccine for any private business with more than 100 employees. And I don't think a lot of people took that serious, and they didn't really think it was going to happen. But they were waiting for OSHA to come out with some type of language to make a basis of what's going to happen lawfully or litigation, stuff like that. And there you have it. This Thursday, OSHA came out with, from what I believe is like a 496-page document, but you can just go to the website and you can look at current news and just click on the latest article. They are going hand in hand with what Biden wanted when it comes to the mandate.
Real quick, why do they always just I'm digressing, but why do they always have to be so many pages? Why is it not that? I get it. Legal jargon is like complex and all that, and there's multiple like articles and subsections because you want to cover all your bases and make sure that this shit is like, nail in the coffin, like set in stone kind of thing.
But not 500 pages.
500 pages, like for something that should just be like a mandate that's just like.
There's one line in there that fucks everybody over entirely that gets lost in the abyss.
And I could be wrong. Maybe I think just the actual. When you go online, I don't think it's that many pages. You can read, you click on the news, and it just gives you a brief description of what's happening on OSHA's website. What's up?
Well, you can finish your thought.
Yeah, so specifically what's going to happen and what's going to affect millions of unvaccinated Americans is if you're with an employer over 100 or more people, you will be forced to get the vaccine. If you don't want the vaccine, then I guess you're not forced technically. You have to pay weekly to get tested. And you also have to wear a mask in the workplace. So that's basically what it's coming down to. If your employer does not comply with those rules, it will be the job of your employer to keep a record of everyone's vaccination, which I thought that was against HIPAA, but that's beyond me. So now in the workplace, people
apparently not in like a state of emergency.
Right, exactly, and that's what they're calling it. So your workplace will have to do that as well, and if they don't, I believe it's anywhere from $7,000 to $700,000 fine per each incident. Is what OSHA's or what the government's going to apply on these employers. So that puts pressure on any employer that you work for, and they're obviously going to go hand in hand with this.
So I wonder if CEOs actually have to get vaccinated, or because they technically don't fall under the category of an employee.
Well, they do, and I mean, man, you're getting on a whole weird thing now where even if they did, couldn't they just fudge that and say that they were?
Like business
if you're
owners,
the CEO,
yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I'd have to look into that. Also, I know I think I've stated here that the Congress is exempt from the vaccine, which they are.
Why?
Congressmen and
why?
And postal workers. Well, the reason is okay. I'm not too sure about postal workers, but specifically for Congress, the president, when he comes out with a mandate, it doesn't apply. No matter who the president is, it doesn't affect Congress because Congress doesn't recognize. They only recognize like legislative Sorry.
I get what you're saying. It's part of the checks. No. In all fairness,
only
that's actually if ignoring the vaccine for a second, just talking about rules in general, that is a good thing. That's a checks and balances thing.
Right. They're not going to comply because it's not the executive branch.
Yeah,
I guess
that actually makes sense.
Biden's mandate's only towards the executive branch and private employers. It's not towards the judicial branch or whatever they're considered.
Legislative would be Congress.
Branch. Yeah, sorry.
So no, my big question is, you can get into a lot of trouble, you as an employer, to judge people on a medical history basis, right? So like, oh man, this guy, he has cancer right now. He's not going to be a good worker. I can't employ him. And that's a bias there, and you can get in trouble for that. How is this not applied?
State of emergency.
So they can literally just go through and be like, hey, this is not...
Yeah, so we'll finish it off, and then we'll start diving into that, because before I say all this stuff, I want to say that there is some type of light that's shined, and that was on Saturday. There are 27 states, last I looked, that was 2 days ago, that are going to sue over this mandate, and there are 5 large companies, the Daily Wire being one of them. And to my knowledge, on Saturday...
Are we one of the states?
Yes, we are. And our attorney...
Missouri's strong, man.
Yeah, our attorney general is one. He came out and said he's suing, but not Parsons. Parsons isn't, because... And we can get into that here shortly. The Daily Wire, I believe, they won the lawsuit. Well, they didn't win it, sorry. The mandate is frozen as of right now in a federal court. And I believe tomorrow, like I was talking to you guys outside, I think they're going to expedite the process, and this is when they're going to let us know either if it's going to go to the Supreme Court or they rule in favor of the mandate type of thing. And I think we'll find out this week what is going to happen. And even at that point, let's say they do rule in favor of the mandate, I don't know what the recourse is after that. But as of right now, what we're talking about, January 4th, is when this goes into effect. It is frozen technically right now. It is frozen. It is not going to happen until these judges decide. So that is some bright way to look at it.
Okay.
Now, if you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, man, I'm with an organization or an employer that has less than 100 employees. I'm not worried about it. I'm all good. Or you're an employer and you're like, man, I have 110 employees. I'm going to just fire 11 of those people and I'm going to be right at 99 and I won't have to worry about any of this. Well, you're wrong, because there's a 30-day public comment that's happening within OSHA. And I think within this 496-page document that they came out with, they are going to revise it. And from some of my sources that I've been listening to, doesn't mean they're right, are saying that, within that public comment, they're going to revise it and mandate every single person be vaccinated that's in the workforce. So that's where we stand right now. It's frozen, but eventually the plan is to vaccinate everyone or get weekly tested and wear a mask if you're not vaccinated in the workplace.
Man, I just wish we had somebody on to play the opposite of what we're going to be talking about, because I really do. I want to get into the mind of the people that are for this.
Same.
But we don't have that person on the podcast to talk about.
I know I just talked a lot, and I'll make this really quick because this is the closest that we're going to get to it. Because where I work, I do talk to a lot of people, and I'm done at this point with people that sit at the bar. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to start asking how people feel about this situation, and even if I don't know them. But for the most part, as long as they came in 3 or 4 times. But anyways. There's this person who's been in the military. They've been in special forces. I believe this person. They've been in, and just by listening to the conversations that he has, he now. I just said he. I don't know his name. But anyways, I asked him, I was like, how do you feel about this mandate? And he's just like, well, the government, if we ever get an alien invasion, what is the government going to do? They're going to take care of it, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, they're going to take care of it. And then he made one more explanation. I don't remember what it was, but maybe he said if there was a massive war, not alien invasion, the government would take care of it. He's like, well, there are millions and millions of people dying. Where do you draw the line? He's like, when does the government step in and mandate this vaccine? And I had said to him, I was like, but only 700,000 people have died. And he's like, okay, but where do you draw the line? And I didn't want to get into the fact that.
Do you know how many people have died? And you brought this up outside. Do you know how many people have died this year of COVID-19 in the United States? What I just looked up from the CDC is of October 6th. So that's what, a month ago? 1 month ago. 353,000 people. You know how many people have died from smoking? 458,000.
Within that same time frame.
Yes.
Which is what? So in
according, by the way, these both of these are from the CDC. These are both from the CDC.
That's hold on. That's from October of 2019 to 2020.
I don't know about that. It just said, no, this year. So from January to October 6th, 468,000.
Yeah.
My point is,
it'd be really easy
big tobacco makes money, right? So they make money so that they can, politicians are in their pocket and all this stuff. Like, why not ban cigarettes then? When do you draw the line?
And exactly, and that's what this guy said. He brought up cigarettes himself, and he's like, "Well, that's a personal choice." I'm like, "Well, so is this?" And that's what I said. But even then, you can go further than that. And I know that secondhand smoke doesn't kill that many people, but it does kill people. And
they said out of the 400 and whatever number I said, I can look it up. But out of the 460 whatever 8,000. 438,000, whatever it was.
What about coronary heart disease? Did you look that one up?
It was, I didn't know.
Or is that related to smoking?
That's also related to smoking. But it was 41,000 of those cases. I don't remember if it was 468,000, however many it was. 41,000 of them are from secondhand smoke.
So that's not a pandemic.
No, not the second. But in general, just the smoking in general.
It's still killing 42,000 people. You know what I'm saying? So, like, why isn't smoking just banned outright?
And they've had those numbers for how long? By the way, this isn't like some new crazy number, right? If anything, smoking's been lessened over time,
because less people smoke.
I gotta find it again. I got so many tabs
actually, one thing that I really liked about the Obama administration,
man, your mic keeps going out. I was doing that last week too.
Yeah, no, a little bit. Was that he had the really high tax on smoking, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with that. Don't make it illegal. And even though it's frustrating as a smoker to have to pay more. But this is an unhealthy habit. You don't make it illegal, but man, you tax and you try to prevent people from getting into that.
Why? Let me ask you. Why do you not make it illegal? Just being honest. Why do you not make it illegal?
Because people should have the choice whether or not to do this or not.
People should have the choice of what they do with their body.
Absolutely.
Same logic with the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it's killed less people than smoking.
In a year span, yeah.
No, overall, in time.
Oh, yeah,
too.
for sure. Yeah.
For sure in time, but even in a year, even in the same period of time.
And that's the thing. It's like, so when you ask, you wish that you had someone on here to talk about this. I think
to be on the other side.
But even if you tell them that and you give them that statistic, I still don't think that that's enough for them, just for the fact that they're so bought into what's happening right now with COVID-19. And
it's the hot chick on the block.
Yeah, but how does that not make sense? You know what I'm saying? Like, to where you're just like. And that's not even getting into, someone dying in a car wreck and they die from the car wreck, but they had COVID and they called it a COVID death. That's not even going down that road to say that the numbers are skewed in any way.
No, because people might find that conspiracy theory, so let's avoid that entirely.
So when I'm sitting there and I'm in that moment with that guest and he says, where do you draw the line? It's hard for me not to say, what line are you talking about? Because we did the math outside earlier, did we not? When you divide 750,000 people by the population of the United States, 325 million people, give or take, that's a 0.002% death rate. That line is not even close to mandating a medical procedure.
0.2%, not 0.002.
Okay, 0.2%. That's not even close to mandating a medical procedure on someone's body. And I'm with you. I don't agree with it at all. But if I'm living in old old European times and the Black Plague is going on and people are legitimately dying outside, you look outside, you see someone fall down and die type shit, then I might consider something. Like, what do I do? But that's not what's happening right now. How do you say it? It's
0.2%.
0.2% of our population has died from this allegedly.
When what was I'd have to look it up because I don't want to be wrong. But what was the death rate of like the bubonic plague or whatever? Wasn't it like a third of the population,
right? And Ebola was like close to 10% death rate, and the media hyped that up, and they did. I don't know
how did they get around saying that this is the worst pandemic of all time with the bubonic plague. I mean, the numbers, maybe we're getting the numbers wrong then.
No, I think when it comes to infected,
because a third of Europe died from the bubonic plague.
They're going off of strictly cases. They're not going off of deaths, or they're going off of cases. That's all they're going off of. That's how they say it's the worst.
I don't have the percentage, but it is the most fatal pandemic recorded in human history, causing the death of, and obviously stats weren't as good back then, so it's really big margin, but causing the death of 75 to 200 million people in Eurasia and North Africa.
And what kind of time frame?
It does from 1347 to 1351.
Damn, so 4 years. That's crazy.
75 to 200 million people.
And that's in
died from bubonic plague.
And that's in like a specific area, not throughout the world.
It was Eurasia, which so like Europe, Asia, North Africa, that whole like area.
That's insane. That's not even the whole world, and this is the whole world. And I don't know how many deaths worldwide. I think it's like 10 million or something like that.
I think it's less than that.
Yeah, less than that. And we're already into 2 years. And I know people are going to credit that to the vaccine, whatever you want to do. But even before the vaccine was out, the numbers weren't alarming or crazy or anything like that.
Well, they didn't even have a vaccine, and they were able to fix that one.
Right.
And they didn't mandate, and they didn't mandate anything. What they did was recommend some shit because people were actually fearful for their lives during the bubonic plague. They were really worried about it. As to people like me and you, we're like, man, I'm not worried about it. This isn't that big of a deal. People were actually worried about it because it was killing babies, middle-aged people, young people, old. It was killing everybody.
COVID 250. This is all time, by the way, all time. COVID 250 million cases, 5.04 million deaths. So 5 million deaths. 5 million deaths worldwide. This is in the U.S.
In 2 years. So
5 million deaths worldwide.
So even if you go off of before the vaccine came out, what the number was, and then you were...
By the way, they say there's 7 million every year, 7 million worldwide from smoking.
Damn. So people have their priorities. I don't know.
And it's projected to be 8 million by 2030.
That's crazy. But what I'm curious is even if you take before the...
And that smoking thing is such a great argument.
It is,
like,
yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh, but it's your freedom. It's your freedom of choice. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's the same thing.
I want to smoke if I'm probably going to die.
That's the thing is everybody admits it. Nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, 99.999% of everybody is all on the same page and all agrees that smoking is very bad for your health and causes death. And we all hate big tobacco. Even smokers hate fucking big tobacco, myself included. Like, it sucks. I wish I wasn't so incredibly addicted to it because of how highly addicting nicotine is. All this stuff. We know it's bad. And they get away with it because they have the money and they have the politicians in their pocket and all this. And now we find out it kills 7 million people a year worldwide. But it's your choice. You can't take that away from them. Don't make it illegal. The tobacco companies have the right, and you have the right as a freedom as an individual to choose how you do stuff. COVID's killed 5 million people worldwide, and we're going to take decisions away from you from what you can do with your body.
So that comes to the ultimate question is why are they pushing this so hard? Why is it the government or the Biden administration or even the world in this aspect?
I wouldn't even call it the Biden administration.
And I wouldn't either. It's
now you
worldwide.
get into the conspiracy, though.
Exactly. But so getting into conspiracy, yes. But
then you immediately have to. Because everybody else will call you, the second you go against it, they're like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist.
But no, what I'm saying is fuck all those people, okay? I'm to that point now. I'm saying fuck all those people. The number you just stated, 7 million people die a year from tobacco. And you have 5 million in 2 years die from COVID. What is their agenda? Why are they wanting everyone to take this shot? That's my biggest question. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are they so hard-pressed to push this onto everyone? Because when you do that, that makes people less likely want to do it. When you're forcing something upon someone, there has to be a reason. I'm not saying that you guys know the reason.
When you take away their livelihood, they go, hey, you can either be a person or you can be homeless and die or you get a vaccine.
No, I don't think that's what he's asking,
simple.
though. He's asking, what is the end game? What is the point of everybody getting the vaccine?
Man, but then you just get into
conspiracy theory, because I don't know. I don't have the answer.
Kind of fancied yours. I fancied yours a little bit, and I think they want that last remaining 11% of wealth. Something, man. It's truly something.
If you look at throughout time, and I'm not gonna have the numbers.
Man, it's a good way. It's a good way to get people out of work
and to buy up shit.
It's a good way to get people out of work, and it's a good way to crash an economy and buy everything.
Yeah. No. So that if you talk about where every conspiracy theory ever comes from, it always has to do with money. Like if you follow the money,
every single one.
If you follow the money, you find the truth. No conspiracy theory is ever backed, which is why I always hated flat Earth. I'm sorry, Paul. I always hated flat Earth because flat Earth never comes to money. And nobody gives a shit. Like, it doesn't make sense in my head unless it comes down to money. And I'm like, oh, I can take it seriously.
It comes down to money, man.
Moon landing.
Let's not get on that right now.
Yeah.
Moon landing. 9/11 being an inside job. Well, there's money. There's money there. There's a reason why, governments are doing their shit to be able to make their money and have control of resources and people and power and all that. But man, this is just another one. Now, if you can all of a sudden take out a portion of the workforce, economy, what you're talking about is you're going to see an economy drop after all this happens. And then companies start going under.
Stocks being sold off, companies going under, private businesses.
They get bought up by conglomerates.
And then these giant corporations just absorb everything.
Yeah, they reabsorb, and then they'll get, 4 more percent out of the 11 that they need left.
They crashed it initially with COVID, and they're like, man, we got a lot, but it wasn't quite enough.
By the way, this is still a thing that nobody's ever talking about, that the biggest distribution of wealth that has ever happened in the history of America.
Transfer of wealth.
Happened.
It's been talked about, and there's a lot of people out there who know it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, transfer. It's not distribution. Transfer of wealth happened whenever COVID fucking hit for the first time.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, everything's being bought up for pennies on the dollar. And then next thing you know, a year later, it's making them massive amounts of money. And they've just bought all this up.
So we were talking outside, and I kind of agree and I kind of disagree, and I'll tell you why. With how you said, and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head because, again, it's all speculation. Corporate media is coming out with these numbers on how many workers are unvaccinated and how many people this is going to affect. But Johnny and I came up with just a number and said, let's say it's 20 million people who are unvaccinated in the workforce.
Oh, you brought that same October 6th article, 52% of the U.S. That number, October 6th, 52% of the U.S. is vaccinated.
Okay, so then that number is
according
large.
to the CDC.
That number is larger then. So let's even go up to let's just say for sake, let's say 50 million people in the workforce, because I want to minus kids, people 16 and under. So let's go 50 million people in the workforce are unvaccinated.
Which is probably more than that, but for math's sake.
Yeah. And let's say this mandate does go into effect. And let's say 70% get vaccinated. So that leaves us with what? 70% of 50 million is what? Like maybe 20 million left?
Can't do quick math.
No. It would be like 15 million. It'd be like 15 or 18 million people.
It's 17.5, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. That would be unvaccinated, right?
No, 15. Yeah, I think you're right. 15.
So the 15 million people unvaccinated, not willing to get the vaccine. I'm in a disagreement that there would be a large uproar of people. 15 million people is a lot of people. They're going to say, what the fuck? And they are going to protest and they are going to do these things. But you see, and the reason that I say this is you see all these people want people to get vaccinated. All these liberals or even people on the right as well, let's say. You see all the cancellation in flights happening. Mm-hmm. You see in New York where sanitation workers aren't working. There's the same with firefighters. This is also going to affect. I watched the sheriff in L.A. County talk about how there's upwards of 2,000 employees that this would affect. You're talking about crime skyrocketing. You're talking about sanitation gone. You're talking about not being able to fly.
Why does the 1% with all the money care?
But what I'm saying is you talk about automation taking over.
That only helps them.
But what I'm saying is you're saying we don't even need these people in the first place, or we won't need these people anymore because of our automation of technology. But the thing is, if that were the case, you're still seeing it affect right now. Southwest, it happened a couple weeks ago where they had thousands of flights canceled because of them implementing a vaccine.
What are you getting at?
I'm saying all these vaccinated people are going to realize what they're doing. They won't be able to live their everyday lives because of what they want to happen to everyone else and all the shit they want to impose on us.
No, it'll all get flights won't get canceled anymore. Flights will stop getting canceled. You know why?
Because we won't be able to fly.
Because the people who get vaccinated will have the jobs there.
But that's to say that they're qualified to do it. How many pilots? How many firefighters? You know how long it takes to be qualified as a firefighter? I mean, it's going to take time.
They will figure out a way to have the vaccinated people working and then automate the other 30%.
Oh, and the reason you're right, sorry, thank you for bringing that to light. My wife was telling me that, I forget which state it was in, but they had a shortage of teachers, so they're now allowing 18-year-olds to substitute teach without really much of any degree.
There's a shortage. They will fill the role.
Well, first of all, we've had such a lack of standard for teachers in America since the Bush administration that it's almost laughable.
Yeah.
I mean that just comes down to you talk about No Child Left Behind, literally ruined education in America.
Just let everybody pass.
Everybody passes. And this was a Republican president that established this. This wasn't some soft dick liberal, right? That Republicans talk about. This is a Republican that came in and did this. Anyway, that's a separate thing.
Yeah.
That ruined education was a Republican president. But another thing that I don't even know where I had to piss.
But you're good, man. You're good. Yeah. We're all over the place.
Me coming into this, looking at, what's going to happen whenever you're you're a hard-nosed, like, red-blooded American that says, man, I should be able to run my government. My shit, has worth. I have value, and I'm not going to let you dictate my life, and I'm going to live my life, and they make you an outcast, right? So you can't have a job. You can't have a job without a vaccination or a vaccination card or whatever the fuck it is. Passport.
Mark of the beast. I'm not
whatever
religious.
Bullshit. That's not what it's going to come down to.
I'm not religious.
That's religious shit. That's religious shit. But oddly enough, I'm not going to go down that road. But next thing you know, you have to start doing like what the immigrants' work was doing, to where now, like, I'm not okay with the vaccination, so now I have to be mowing the lawns, cleaning the pools, janitoring, just cash under the table, for less than minimum wage to be able to pay, for like groceries and shit.
What happens when all your college-educated doctors can't get work because they refuse to get vaccinated?
And there's been plenty of doctors who have done that.
Yeah, what happens?
I believe there was a video I was watching, and there was it was at like a city council meeting, and it was a EMT person or something, or an emergency doctor, and he did not show up because he was forced to. They wanted him to get the vaccine, and a few people died that night because he wasn't there.
Isn't this? Hold on. Can I try to play devil's advocate just for that argument right there?
Yeah.
You should be vaccinated. You should be vaccinated because you're putting me in harm by you not being vaccinated. That's why this is happening. You are putting me in harm. I'm vaccinated. You are not. And you are putting me at harm.
So
what's the argument for that?
I'll give you a couple arguments.
So I'm vaccinated.
You're vaccinated, so why does it matter?
You assholes are literally putting everybody fucking at risk of fucking dying.
You're vaccinated, so why does it matter?
And I'm vaccinated, you're putting my life at risk.
Yeah, you're vaccinated.
But I'm vaccinated.
Yeah. So what more do you want?
But you're not vaccinated.
Okay, now you're going in circles. Make your point.
He's making his point.
But you're putting my life and everybody else's life at risk.
But you're vaccinated.
But I believe in it.
Yeah.
I believe in it.
So
I'm vaccinated.
So why don't you be vaccinated and I'll be unvaccinated? You're vaccinated. You're safe, man.
No.
You're good. You're vaccinated. You're protected. You're protected.
But you put me at risk.
But you're protected. You got the vaccine.
Man, I'm doing a horrible job at even
you're
coming
doing
up with this fucking argument.
You're doing a great job, man. You're doing a beautiful job right now.
I would like to.
I'm vaccinated, and you asshole, you don't give a shit about any other human being on this fucking planet. You want to see everybody burn at just your lack of fucking knowledge and understanding of how things fucking work.
Let me take it away real quick, because that brings me into my next point then, which is
I'm almost playing like reverse.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Of course.
My whole thing was
I'm doing a poor job.
I think people I think people might be watching or listening and looking at us the wrong way too. I am not, and I don't think any of us are. I don't think any of us are. Maybe Paul. I don't know. But I don't think any of us are saying that you shouldn't.
Go get fucking vaccinated.
None of us are saying you shouldn't. The whole point, the entire thing is about freedom of choice. You can do, I will never, people will come at me and be like, yeah, you're a piece of shit. Me and my sister had this conversation.
So, Johnny, real quick.
You're a piece of shit for not getting vaccinated, blah, 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 blah.
Don't you run your sister's name through the mud through this podcast.
I'm not.
God damn it, Johnny.
I'm not. The whole point is people will come at you for being unvaccinated. I've never come at anybody for being, hey, you're vaccinated, go fuck yourself. No, I don't. The whole point is freedom. Do whatever you want. If you feel that this will make you safer, fucking do it. You have every right. If you want to wear a mask, do it. If you want to stay in your house, do it. Do whatever you want to keep yourself safe, because that is your right as a human being.
And we've held steady on that.
Everybody is having this human experience, right? Everybody is having a genuine. Nobody's having do you think anybody on this planet is having an unauthentic human experience right now?
Mark Zuckerberg. I'm just making jokes.
Man, that's the only one that makes sense. Jokes. That's almost not even a joke for me. But no, is anyone having an unauthentic human experience right now on this planet?
No.
No. Everybody's having a human experience, and we have to do our absolute best, and we have to try our best and really think about shit and come up with conclusions to ideas and all this. Nobody's ever going to be on the fucking same page about fucking anything, right? My shit's always going to be different than everybody else's. I am not going to be that guy that fucking steps in and says, "Oh, because I think this way, you need to do the thing that I fucking am thinking about right now." right?
It's
And that's what
ridiculous.
they're doing.
That's kind of
Brings
what
me
I'm
back
getting
to
at.
a few weeks ago whenever I said,
But
I got mad
libertarians
and I
get
was
shit
like,
on for
dude,
this mentality.
leave
Libertarians
me
get shit on for
the
this.
fuck alone, and I will leave you alone. Like,
dude, go.
let me live my goddamn life however I will please.
I will,
you live your life however you fucking please.
You should post some like CDC level shit of where you should go and get the vaccine if you actually want it. Go
to your local Walgreens, and you know what? I'm not
and get it.
I'm not going to tell people to go get it. If they want to get it, they need to talk to their doctor.
No, I mean, you won't
And if it's
advocate
something-
it because that's within your morality.
No,
but
but if
people
it-
also understand they have their own. Dude, everybody's got their own morality.
Yeah.
You can go and get the vaccine. This is my big argument that I said later on. Been like, man, you're putting me at risk. Me, like, I'm playing like the weird devil's advocate from the other side. I'm vaccinated. You are putting me at risk for you not being vaccinated. Doesn't that solve the fucking shit? Or am I just an idiot on how fucking
But you're vaccinated,
how this
so
works?
if you're vaccinated, then you're protected. So why do I need
A
to get
is vaccinated. A is vaccinated. Hates on B because B is unvaccinated. But isn't the whole point of being vaccinated to be safe from the exposure of B?
Right.
I don't know how else to
And B can
how else to break that down.
And B can still coexist with A because A is vaccinated.
You're vaccinated. You're
and
good.
And B is more likely to die, so they say, because you're not
That's up to me, though.
vaccinated.
That's up to me.
Exactly.
Once again, you bring up the cigarette shit at that point. If you talk about
It's up to me. Freedom of choice.
How am I harming everybody else when everybody else is vaccinated? 99% of the world is vaccinated. 1% isn't, and that 1% now needs to be like.
And one guy can be in his car with his wife and his 3 kids in the back. None of the 4 smoke, but he smokes with the windows up, and gives all of them secondhand smoke. But that dude, nothing happens.
No.
And I've seen that shit, man.
Yeah.
Well, in all
With
fairness,
kids
to play devil's
too.
advocate, in all fairness, they did, stop smoking indoors, stop smoking in bars and stuff. They did shut all that down.
But they didn't shut down a kid.
But I'm just, I'm trying to be unbiased here.
But just
They
check it out. It's that dude's choice to put his kids in
It
that
is this-
position, and it sucks. And
Th-
I
this
don't
is-
agree with
this
it.
is-
I don't agree with it. But they're his kids, and
So-
it's his wife. It's not my choice, man.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's not my fucking choice. Leave him alone. He
Man.
wants to do that to his kids. I feel so bad for those kids, but I can't pull the dude over and fucking pull him out of his car and be like, "Man, what the fuck are you doing?" and beat the shit out of him. No, fuck that, man. That.
What is the point? And I might sound like a complete idiot, and I don't know. I don't know here. I am an idiot.
We're all
I'm not
idiots.
smart. I'm not smart at all. One thing I know is that I know nothing. This is the one thing I'll put money on is that I know nothing. But this is weird for me. If you were vaccinated and you have your COVID vaccination, how am I, an unvaccinated person, at a harm to you? Because wasn't that the whole purpose?
I feel like
of
we're going
the
in circles on that
vaccination?
point. We've addressed that point
I think
and how
Jesse,
ridiculous
Jesse
it is.
he just wants an answer.
I
though.
just want an
I don't
answer
have
to
an
that.
answer.
I just want an answer to that
I
one.
don't have an answer.
I agree, and I think.
And
that,
why can't I live my life unvaccinated without a government telling me what to do? And I got to be honest, the government could be like, "Hey man, you just got to come over here and we're going to have this like Playboy bunny like suck your dick for free and then we're going to hand you $500." And if it's the federal government doing that to me, I'm going to be like, "No, fuck you."
Yes.
That's how I feel about the federal government.
Right.
That sounds great. if it was local, state, I'd
Ooh,
do it.
state
I would
government?
do it. But not federal. I don't like the fucking federal government. That's my piece on it. I just don't understand this thing that doesn't fucking make sense to me. Why are they being ostracized when you have done your part? And then now, because they weren't a part of your clique, basically, is it a clique thing?
Yeah,
Like,
it's always about sides
Man,
and
and
taking
maybe
sides
there's
and
some
turning
science
people against
behind
each
it.
other.
I think it's just power.
Is
now.
there some science behind it?
It's conformity.
Somebody in the comments, like, send me some fucking links. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
And I don't want to get into this. I'm going to address the argument real quickly. We've already talked about it outside. You could play devil's advocate and go into the whole, what about the people who want to get vaccinated but cannot get vaccinated due to autoimmune deficiencies, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go ahead and answer my own question just because I want to move past this. We've talked about this. The whole thing is, man, this is dark, but sucks to suck. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that happens. Like, you drew a short straw, and I'm sorry. There's a lot of people in the world who deal with a lot of different bad things. if you're truly scared and whatnot, you should not be taking away other people's freedom of choice, though, and other people's freedom in general. Like, if you were dealt this bad hand and you have autoimmune deficiency and all this stuff, realistically, you should be staying inside. You should be getting delivery. You should be getting your groceries delivered to you. You should be staying inside. You should wear a mask. You should do everything that you have to do to protect yourself. But it is not my responsibility as another individual to go out of my way and change my free will to protect you.
But
I'm
also,
sorry.
Also, at the same time, even though, honestly, that can sound cold-hearted to a lot of people. But even the common flu, common bacterial disease that happens can also affect that person. And you need to be taking those measures of being quarantined. It has nothing to do with COVID at that point. It's just you need to quarantine yourself up until you have, like, talk to a doctor and then get things worked out.
And that's the way it's always been.
It's not like
it's always.
No, it's always. That's the whole point. It's always been that way. This isn't something new. And then out of nowhere, it's like, oh man, you're detriment to fucking, the people with autoimmune disease and shit. There's no argument that makes sense to me.
You have to.
I wish there was another individual here. Is all I wish. Somebody in that chair, literally completely against what we're saying right now, that maybe have some information to enlighten.
No, because we're all on the same side.
I'm so confused. Because, dear Lord, I would like some insight.
I think you would
from this side that would make sense to me.
And you know what?
Because it doesn't make sense to me.
And I've tried to read articles from the other side, and I've listened to many people talk and have conversations about the other side. But my common sense tells me that it's just bullshit, man. You shut down the whole world for absolutely a death rate that's laughable, honestly, in my opinion.
I loved quarantine.
It was different, man. But I don't like
quarantine.
No, fuck that.
I didn't. I know. For the moment I did, but think about how much our lives have changed.
We hated it. We in the end we ended up hating it because we wanted something outside of our house. And
I'm not talking about just quarantine. I'm talking about look at what it caused.
I'm naturally introverted. So
I know, but look at how much
games, man.
Do you remember how much we used to go to the bar with friends and hang out and do a bunch of stuff? You remember going to Westport and hanging out? You remember the big group of people we had having bonfires at the house, all this stuff? That doesn't happen anymore. And that's not just age.
I was willing to give that up.
That's also COVID happening.
Yeah. I had all this in my mentality whenever it first started because I am all for not putting people in danger. I would never.
We talked about this when COVID go all the way back.
And there's podcasts. There's podcasts of me saying this.
All the way back to like March 20th of fucking 2020.
But you don't trust the government, but you trust the fact that they shut down the whole world.
Man,
that makes no sense to me.
Okay. You always, whenever something first happens, you have to have a kind heart at the first time.
You don't shut down the whole world,
and try to think
Jesse.
outside of yourself.
He's not saying you shut down the whole world. He's saying that
I'm
there's
saying
that.
You
I
think
remember
outside
this.
of yourself. I'm saying you think outside of yourself and you care about other people first. That's massively, massively important. Is you care about other people first. And I thought that way. But then as this shit fucking went on, it's not about so much of caring of other people. You look at how the distribution of wealth happened throughout all this. You look at the taking of freedoms.
There's obviously ulterior motives.
There's
the
exactly.
bailouts, and we're getting another $1.2 trillion.
And this
obviously
isn't
ulterior
fucking
motives.
conspiracy theory anymore. There is numbers on this. There is all of this. All of this was clearly to buy up shit. Is all it was. This is not fucking conspiracy theory. I'm sorry. It was to buy up shit. And then now we're looking at a dictatorship. Our government slowly like bottlenecked like all this.
Can I ask a question real quick? And this is to you guys, and it's also to the audience.
Yeah.
Do we feel in the past that the media has put red versus blue, Republican versus
I don't
liberal?
want to talk about media.
Yeah.
Media is garbage.
I'm not bringing it. Just let me ask the goddamn question. Do we feel in the past that there has been a culture war between red versus blue?
Yes.
And that was brought on not by us, but by them. And I'm asking the audience as well. Do we feel like there has been racial issues brought out that have been not for the benefit, but for the detriment to divide people?
Yes.
Has the government constantly tried to divide us, is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
What better way to divide than a COVID vaccine kind of thing, and literally being like, if you don't have it, you're not only different from me,
segregation,
and we're not only against each other, but you're actually less than. You're lower class.
Segregation.
You cannot work. You cannot function in society, and you are shunned, and you are an outcast.
Segregation.
What better? Not just segregation, but
that's what's happening.
No, but it's not just segregation. It's taking people and saying, if you don't do this,
that's true. Yeah,
you are now less than. You can now no longer work. You can now no longer have your freedoms. You can't make a living. You can't make money. You can't help for your family. You can't pay for anything. You can't do this, and you're shunned by society. What greater form of division is there? This is, I mean, look at the past. They've done it before with, like, I mean, there was racism and slaves and all these different things, and I'm not making that comparison because I know people are going to look at it the wrong way, but that's not what I'm getting at. I don't know. I hope I made my point clear. Maybe I didn't.
There's a weird thing with as far as the racial one that you're getting into. That almost kind of like quieted those movements that I thought were so important as far as like the Black Lives movement.
COVID quieted a lot of movements, by the way. Do you remember Hong Kong?
That's what I'm saying. No, the Hong Kong movement, like racial, like the Black Lives Matter movement.
How's the yellow vest movement going in France?
Dude, it's probably...
No, France still goes hard on protests, man. You just don't see it. Yeah,
okay,
good. Good.
It's probably just quieted through the internet. But I thought we were huge movements.
A lot of things
and
are
very, like, very important. Like, these are massively important things that are happening. Black Lives Matter.
Those things were only magnified during COVID because everyone was at home watching TV and watching YouTube.
That's not what man, you guys are...
That's not all what you said.
That's not all what I was getting at, though. The whole point was... We always talk about, even Mike, why am I not remembering his last name?
Mike Anderson.
Mike Anderson talked about tribalism and how the government divides us and how we've always been divided.
I agree with you, man.
And this is just another form of that, but even more aggressive.
You can't divide me into a category, though.
I don't think...
At the same time.
You're now in the category of the unvaccinated who you're not allowed to work.
I don't think...
If this mandate goes through.
And that's what I'm saying.
I refuse to be defined by...
So go to work then. Go to work at your company that won't let you work.
I have my morality.
No,
guess what?
Jesse,
I'm tied to my morality.
Let's have a real question then. Let's say the mandate goes through today. The mandate goes through today, and you are no longer able to work if you are unvaccinated. What do you do? Real question. What do you do? Put you on the spot.
Man, I don't know.
Jesse,
I got to be honest. I don't know.
So do you get vaccinated?
Jesse would. I have a strong belief that Jesse will.
It'd be really hard. It'd be really hard for me not to.
I won't.
That's what I'm saying. Look what
because at some point I will allow injustice to happen, even though the injustice that I feel at a sacrifice for what I feel is a greater good, to make sure that other things have.
So if the mandate goes through,
perpetuation.
If the mandate goes through and I don't get it, do you feel like I should not be allowed to work?
No.
But you're agreeing with that by getting it.
Yeah,
okay.
True.
But, man...
You're supporting that move.
Man, it's a really difficult fucking thing.
You're supporting that move by doing that. And that's what people don't realize.
Dude, it is fucking hard, though.
It's not, though.
No, it is... Yes, no, it is hard. It is very difficult to do the quote-unquote right thing, whatever, and man, so many people are going to get us fucking shit.
That's evil. But, no, because in the face of evil and they in tyranny, and they go, hey, we're going to shit on you, and you're going to have nothing, or guess what? We're going to give you this simplistic life, and this is what we're going to give you, or you can have nothing. Which one do you take?
But by you taking the simplistic life,
I know.
You've now detrimented everybody else into the nothingness.
I know the domino effect. But I have, things happening that fucking change shit.
I know.
It's not the same shit anymore.
I get it.
You push me into a corner, and Johnny, I'll answer the same question without you even asking. I won't get it, man. Like, I won't. You push me into a corner far enough, I'm going to find my way out, and I'm going to find my way out on top. I'm going to find the way to do it. I don't know how that's going to happen, but whenever you put me in a position like that, that's going to put me in a position to provide for my family and still enjoy the same type of lifestyle that I have right now. I will maintain this lifestyle no matter what happens. I will continue to do what it is that I want to do. And I'm not going to fucking stop, man. Like, fuck this shit.
That's my point, and that's what I'm getting at.
I think we're all forgetting that we're literally just on this spinning ball of fucking, like, speck of
I don't want to get into the shrooms talk right now.
Stop that shit.
And maybe this is the shit that we're given. This is the shit that we have.
No, we've allowed this to happen
Make
throughout
the best
history.
out of it.
I'm tired of tyranny winning out every goddamn time.
Tyranny will always win out because human beings are fucking garbage.
Stand up against it then. Stand up against it.
Well, it always falls, and then you know what I'm saying?
I talked about hierarchy fucking like 3 years ago on this fucking podcast about how human beings will always end up evil. We're not... Human beings aren't the good.
I know that.
Human
We've had
beings
this
aren't the
conversation.
good. We are not the good people fighting the good fucking fight all the time.
But it could be
We're
David,
like how we can suck as much energy and fucking.
Hold on. It could be David. What David Icke talked about in the podcast, and it's another entity that's doing these types of things. We're not entirely sure. And
I don't want to get on all that because then I feel like
put yourself in other
but
scenarios and realize that you have to make other decisions based not solely on yourself, Johnny.
I get
and
that.
Things change.
I get that. I really do.
And then now all of a sudden it's different.
No, I get it because. And I'm not going to go into it because you're going to be worried. Like, there's other things. There's always existential circumstances.
And this is what I like the people that I see in like documentaries who sold drugs because that's the only thing they could fucking do to fucking provide for their family. And they're like, hey,
that's not the only thing that they could do. That's bullshit. There's always other things that they could be doing. That's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. If you're able-bodied and you're able to work, you can go and work in the workforce.
Man, okay.
And whether or not drugs, whether or not
coming up in a black market, that's all you.
Whether or not drugs.
All
should be
you
legal
know
or
is
not,
white, lower middle class. That's all you're able to do.
I feel like we're
Paul.
really getting off of the
that's
topic.
all
here.
you're fucking able to do.
Yeah.
There are people that are put in scenarios that are extremely hard to overcome. Have you overcame yours? Because I'm pretty sure you're in the same scenario you've been in your entire life.
No, you
which
have.
is lower,
You have.
white, middle class.
True, very true.
Me too.
Very true. But I
overcome it, Paul. Become a millionaire.
And I could. I just choose to live in my conformity. I choose to live in my comfortability.
So why are you hating on those people that do the same shit that grow up in poverty and fucking crime?
I did that.
All of a sudden now, they're the scum of the fucking earth?
So
no,
fuck that.
They live the lives that they were fucking
we are
given.
getting off on, this is not what this conversation was.
So if you want to go down that road, sorry, and then I'm just going to reply to what Jesse said. I've overcame poverty, bro. I grew up poor as fuck. So I don't even want to go down that road, but I overcame that, and I am lower white, middle class, or whatever. What's your point, man? People have the choice to work whatever they want. Like I said, if this COVID vaccine mandate comes down on me.
That's the whole point, is that takes away the choice.
Again, but I'm going to find a way. And I guess to Jesse's point, I know selling drugs is, puts you in jail, but I'm going to do what I have to do at that point, man. Whenever it comes down to this fucking
so now you're talking about, I'm not going to take the vaccine. I'm going to have to be paid under the table, and you're an illegal worker now, doing illegal things.
In the eyes of the government, sure.
To feed your kids.
Right. Those people that you're talking about don't have to do that. They can join the workforce.
So drugs are illegal. They're pieces of shit, and they were doing illegal things to feed their family. But now I'm not going to take the vaccine. I won't have a legal job. I'll be paid under the table. I'll be doing illegal things to feed my family.
Puts me in the same category. You're right. You're completely right. I guess at that point it does. I
get the point Jesse's making.
Fucking Christ.
I mean, like weed drug dealer. I mean, like drugs that are. If you're selling bass,
and we are way
it's
getting
not
off
about
topic.
what you're selling. It's about what society is allowing you to fucking do as an individual.
In society, overwhelmingly agrees with this mandate for some. Well, I guess in America it's like 52%. It's like 52%. So I guess it's not overwhelmingly.
We don't know I don't have the polls on the numbers of who agrees with this or not.
What I'm saying, if 52%
are vaccinated,
right? So I mean, at this point,
it doesn't. Yeah,
48%. And polls can be skewed as well. But I think the CDC probably has a pretty good grasp on what the number is on how many people are vaccinated or not. But it's 50-50 right now. I guess that's crazy. That's a lot of people. You're talking over 100 million people that are unvaccinated. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Even if
we got so off base with all this stuff. I've kind of lost track of.
And it's all good, man. We went almost the whole podcast talking about the mandate. So if we were to digress for a quick 5 minutes, that wouldn't be a bad thing. And I mean, we're at the end of the podcast, man. I mean, we're gonna end it. It was pretty solid for the most part. I know we were a little bit all around.
You know what's weird is that we all agree on this, but I feel like we have different origins of belief on what's like important.
I think,
and we still come from different views.
Yeah,
even though we're ending up at the same answer, we're coming from different spots.
I think at the end of the day, it's a lot simpler than the vaccine. I think you could get rid of all of COVID and the vaccine and all this, and at the end of the day, it goes back to what I said before and what I think we all agree on, which is leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Let me do what I'm gonna do, and I won't fuck with you either. And you can do whatever you want because you are your own human being, and I can do whatever I want because I am my own human being. If I walk up and stab you with a fucking knife, then sure, get the cops on me. Have your buddies fucking beat the shit out of me, kill me, do whatever. But if I'm not going out of my way to physically or mentally cause harm to you, leave me the fuck alone. don't tell me what to do and don't tell me what to believe, and I will give you the same fucking privilege.
Yeah.
Is it a bigger problem that we haven't given those people privileges first? And being
Those
like,
people who?
We all have the same privilege, man, in America.
no, what I'm saying is like, all right, I'll leave that for another one. That's gonna branch off into some other shit.
I don't know. My whole point is just dude, stop telling other people what to do. And why would you want the government telling other people what to do? Everybody hates the government. We can all agree on that. It's not just us.
And I think that's
like, are you all about the fucking federal government?
The liberals are all about the fucking federal government.
They are. And this was the biggest thing. And I think, Jesse, when we were outside,
I've been liberal my almost entire life. I hated growing up Republican and right wing religious, and
I've been liberal most of my life, but I still wasn't for the government.
Now I haven't. Man, the liberals have put a bad taste in my mouth.
I've been liberal like most of my life, and I'm still not for the government that entire time. You can be liberal and not for the government.
That's
so. I think what it
good
comes
luck
down
finding those, but
I think what it just comes down to, man, is exactly what you guys just said, and Johnny, especially what you said, man. Like, just like leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone. I think
it's that simple.
That's the simplest way, man, and I feel like that's the American way, and it's been that way for so long.
It's the human way.
And the government, and Jesse, what you said outside earlier, and that's precisely what is happening right now is a dictatorship. And I know, Johnny, earlier you said, hold on.
What I said was a mandate. A mandate not the same word as a dictatorship?
It is, man, and that's what we're seeing right now. And I feel like a lot of people are agreeing with that. And I know you say you don't want to call it the Biden administration. I don't really want to either. I know it's just not Biden, and he's not just one person.
It doesn't matter who was in office. This was going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So it's not the administration.
But it is a dictatorship from some type of entity or some type of corporation or the government or whatever. The government is one person. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe not, because I know that there's some people in Congress who are opposed to this because of their constituents. And if the
government's owned by fucking corporations,
right?
Corporate oligarchy that we live in.
But there's something or someone that wants to be a dictator in America, and they're a masked face, and we have no idea who they are, and that's a conspiracy in itself.
It's corporate oligarchy. It's actually really easy to equate. If you want me to equate it,
so the corporate oligarchy is a dictatorship, man. Us as Americans have a choice right now, man. The choice is, do we cave and do we conform to what it is this mandate wants just so we can continue our livelihood? And I know it's been frozen right now, and I know there's still a chance that it might not go into effect. But or do we stand up for ourselves, and do we fight for what we believe is right? You know what I'm saying? For a long time, we've just been sitting in the shadows, and we've been poked quite a bit. But how much longer can we be poked? To the point where...
Long time if they keep doing it right.
Right.
If they keep going down the same road of a little bit at a time.
Yeah. So, I mean, my
just
only...
take an inch here, take another inch here. Next thing you know, we're miles down the road.
I don't know how many more inches I have, man. You know what I'm saying? And this isn't any type of threat or anything like that, but like... I
get it. We're on the same page, Paul.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation.
I know we have, man. Page. And I just want to just put it out there, man. And... we all have to stand together and oppose this, because in so many other countries throughout the world, they are doing that, and they are being successful in doing it towards their government. They are truly being successful. And I know America is on a massive scale a lot bigger than these smaller countries that are actually winning this battle that we are not. And the only reason that we're not is because it's such a large country, and it's so hard to get so many people to do this because of the comfortabilities that we have in the United States. So that's just, I don't know, man.
No, we're ending on a sad note. It's depressing and it's angering. And like I said, I just want to leave people with the fact that I'm not telling you not to do something. I'm not telling you not to get the vaccine.
Talk to your doctor,
whatever.
Man.
Talk to your doctor, do your own research, do whatever you want to do is my whole point. Just don't tell me what to do.
That's it.
And honestly, there's nothing saying that I won't get the vaccine. The whole point that I'm making is that I won't do it unless it's for my own reasons. I won't do it because the government is telling me to do it. I'm not saying I'm against it. If enough research comes out that I believe in and whatever, blah, 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 and the government wasn't pushing it so hard, which kind of makes me take the other view on it. The whole point is...
You know how many drugs I've pumped into my system?
Whatever you want to do. Just leave me alone.
Like my early 20s, how many drugs I fucking put into my shit? Go and get the fucking vaccine. But what you're saying...
Why is the government telling you to do it?
Yeah. At that point, you need to be worried.
What have they ever?
Then they have
what
control.
has the federal government ever? And I'm bringing up a point that we've brought up before. What have they ever done in the past for you? So we all know about Gary Webb.
Hold on. So
we all know about.
don't
there's
get into
so
that.
much. I know, but there's so much. What have they ever done for you?
It makes sense now why they did all these stimulus checks, because they wanted to give you all these checks to make you feel better about the government. Ooh, I just got all this money from the government. Now I'm gonna get the vaccine.
Yeah, I don't even know about that.
But I mean,
I get the logic, but I don't.
That's how
I don't
simple
agree.
people's minds are, man. That's how simple like people will trust the government. But I mean, I'll leave it at that, man. I know we've kind of been bashing the same thing. We're a little bit over the hour. I don't really have any lasting thoughts, man. Do what you want, like you said, Jesse.
I do.
Let me get mine in real quick. Do what you want, like Jesse said. Like Johnny said, I already said it earlier. Go to your doctor. If your doctor thinks it's a good fit for you, and you truly like your doctor and you trust your doctor, then at that point it's between you two, and your doctor is, like that's between you guys. This isn't a choice that a government entity has over your body, in my opinion. It is between you and your doctor
keep
or
the
yourself.
freedom part of it. Make it your decision.
Exactly. That's all I got. Jesse, what you got, man?
Man, just treat people like how you want to be treated. Like that's it. And that's coming from this whole mentality too of don't force shit. Like, would you want to be forced shit that you're not okay with? Even though you're okay with something, so you're okay with it, but you're like, so I'm okay with it, so everybody else should be okay with it too. Get the fuck out of that mindset. Have some respect for other people and their walks of life. Nobody understands. Nobody will ever really understand me. Nobody will ever really understand Paul or understand Johnny or you as a viewer right now. But what we can do is be like, man, everybody's having a human experience. So let's at least attempt at our best level to, understand that. And just, you're dealing with a human experience and you need to make your own decisions for your life.
Live your life.
And
don't let other people live your life for you.
And appreciate other people for having maybe some different views and different outlooks. And it's not the end of the fucking world kind of shit. Human beings have been around for a long time. Will be around for a long time after this. This isn't the end of the world kind of thing, unless we allow ourselves to kill each other. In the end, in this gnashing and clawing at each other for mainly petty shit. Whenever it comes to just like individuals and not government shit, but just individual, like Twitter beefs and shit like that. Just be kind to each other and be respectful that other people have different views and they live in different walks of life, and allow people to live their lives a little bit more. That's all I got. That's all I got.
I mean, that's it. I've already kind of said my piece. I just, once again, will reiterate, I guess, that man, just stop telling other people what to do, and especially stop bashing them for it. Man, I see these things all the time it's weird. It's mostly on YouTube because I don't really social media, but I see comments on YouTube and stuff of someone gets in a vaccine argument or whatever, and it's all like the Aaron Rodgers thing, even all this different stuff where it's like someone isn't vaccinated and something happens and everybody's like, fuck you, that's what you get, blah, 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 blah. Be nice. Don't tell them, yeah, they made a mistake. They didn't do it, and they fucking bit the bullet for it. That's their fucking decision. Why do you got to shit on them extra? Something bad happened to this person because of their own decision-making. Why are you adding to it by shitting on them? Same thing with the mandate and everything. He didn't get the vaccine, so fuck him. He shouldn't be able to work. Why the fuck do you care? Stay out of his fucking life.
That's simple. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. That's the best thing you can do for this channel. Interact with it. Put comments on it. Hit the like button. Hit the dislike button. Subscribe to this channel if you like it. Find us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, BitChute. I don't really upload on BitChute. I need to because that's where we get the most traffic. But anyways, to all our junkies out there,
stay fly and live your life, I guess.